I am Elsa Forlind. Today is the day that will live in history. November 9th, 1989, the iconic Berlin Wall has been destroyed. If you aren't familiar with the wall, this is what it looked like at the beginning of the Cold War. The wall was built when the US, Britain, and France went to Berlin to secure their occupation zones. Then the USSR blockaded the western part of Berlin to get them to abandon the city. It did not work. Harry Truman flew surprise over the blockade, so the Westerners would not surrender. Finally, in 1949, the USSR ended the blockade, but since so many East Berliners were fleeing to the West Berlin, the Soviets had to have another approach. Most of the people who escaped were laborers, intellectuals, and skilled professionals, so their loss greatly impacted the economy of Western Germany. We will now go to visit Gunther, who is reporting at the scene.
Thank you, Elsa. Hello, I am Gunther, and I am here at the scene of the Berlin Wall being torn to the ground. The Berlin Wall was built August 13, 1961, standing for about 28 years before it was destroyed. The wall represented the Cold War and how Khrushchev didn't want anyone to escape communism. After everything was over, the Germans wanted it gone.
Thank you, Gunther. We will now have Gunther meet with someone who is impacted by this important event.
Hello, Gertrude. Is it okay if we ask you a few questions about your life in the Berlin blockade?
Hello? Yes, it is perfectly fine. Oh my goodness, I am so glad it is over. I was trapped in there for what seemed like forever.
What is your earliest memory of the wall?
Well, I remember when I was first young, they fenced in my village and then it turned into this.
Wow! Do you know about how many people escaped before the wall was complete?
Well, it was when I was very young, but I remember that I witnessed about 4 people crawling underneath the fence and running for their lives. But more than 1,000 made it.
Wow! What was life like for your family in the wall?
Well, my family and others too were treated terrible. The people released terrible things like attack dogs and landmines to keep us from escaping. This was my father, Alfred Alvendorf. He was one of the few who escaped because, like other families, we were trapped and separated and never reunited. But they promised I would see him again.
That is terrible! Can you describe the scene when the wall was going up?
Well, of course the wall could not be built overnight. It took many days. But on the night of August 12, 1961, East German soldiers laid down more than 30 miles of barbed wire fences. The heart of Berlin was completely covered. That is when there is no escaping for anyone. I, like the other East Berliners, were forbidden to pass into West Berlin until today.
Thank you so much for doing this interview with us, Gertrude. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
As you can see, today is a very important day for all the people who were trapped in this terrible wall for so long. We will now report back to Elsa in the studio. I am Gunther Augsburger, and thank you for tuning in.
As you can see, the Berlin Wall being destroyed was a very good moment for the Germans. The some 96 miles of concrete were home to many people for about 20 years, but the wall represented how nobody could be free under communism and how terrible it was for the world. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you tomorrow. Goodbye and good night.